Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Corner. Today's topic is from the topic I picked last week for us to practice, and I thought that would be a good idea to actually do a video on that topic. So, if you follow me for a while and you actually noticed that the article or the topic I picked from last week, you probably would know today's topic is about spotlight effect. And I thought that would be a good idea actually do a video on the topic to explain what that is. And then maybe you can just talk with me about it too. So the topic is about the spotlight effect. And I actually ask you guys to find out what spotlight effect is. And of course, before that, I didn't even know what that was, and then somehow I came across the topic, and I was like, okay, that would be interesting to do because that does happen to me kind of from time to time. So when you talk about spotlight effect, if you look at the word, the literal meaning is, well, of course, there's a spotlight on you. And the effect is when you are at the center of the stage, and then you feel like there's a spotlight on you, and then the first reaction is I feel nervous, I feel awkward, and I panic. Uh, and then when I actually went to Google what spotlight effect is, it's related to a psychology effect, psychology term, something like that. So it means when you are in public or when you are in somewhere you're not very familiar, is you feel like all the tension's on you and you feel awkward. And in your mind, everybody's focusing on you. So that is spotlight effect because you're the center of the stage. In reality, that is not a good thing. If you if you wonder why I'm talking about this, because sometimes when the spotlight effect uh, is serious or when it gets serious and then they can cause social anxiety, it means you may sweat when you're in public or when you panic and you may even have a panic attack. So that's that serious. The reason I want to talk about this is, of course, to help us be more confident and care less. So I can use my very own example to show you what spotlight effect is. So when I first went to Starbucks, I had never been Starbucks before I came to Canada. I had no idea about that, what that was, and how I could order coffee. So when I came here, of course, I felt intimidated to go there too. So my friend took me to Starbucks and showed me how to order. But I felt like when I was ordering coffee, everyone was paying attention to my English, to my order, to the way I dressed, to the way I talked. I was super nervous. But all I was ordering was just a black coffee. So that was pretty intense. I would say that. But at that moment, I felt like I needed to run away. Uh, what if I made a mistake? And then people are going to be like, oh, she's so stupid. She can't even speak English. She can't even order coffee. And from back then, I did have a very serious spotlight effect, and then it happened to me all the time. So when I was doing my presentation in class, and when I was going somewhere else, or when I switched to a new style, um, every time, and they would be like, "Oh my god!" And people are gonna just stare at me, and then realize, yeah, you're nobody. Nobody cares about you. So that's why I want to talk about it. I don't know if you actually have a similar experience. Let me know. Leave a comment down below and we can talk about that. But I'm better now. But from time to time or occasionally, I still have that feeling that people are focusing on me. I remember when I first got to this new school, I went there. I decided to be a sophisticated lady, so I would dress up, which I normally wouldn't do, and I put a little bit, makeup on, which also I wouldn't normally do it too. I got there, and of course, I felt like, oh my god, I felt so awkward. I kind of was standing out, and people would be like comment on me. So, oh, look at her dress, look at the way she uh, walks or something like that. I definitely feel awkward and nervous, and I felt like when people pass by me, and that person is judging me. But then now I realize that really nobody cared. And I found this article, and there's like they did two studies and actually showed that I am right. Nobody care about me, and nobody care about you too. So if anytime you have that feeling, just tell yourself nobody cares. So I'm gonna read the note I got here. So in that research, it's a 2012. Of course, it's not really updated, but who cares? Same thing. So we'll do that. So the researchers asked the students wearing the embarrassing T-shirt to estimate how many people in the room noticed what they were wearing. Interesting. The students wearing the shirt estimated that about 50% of the room noticed. In reality, only 25% of the people in the room were able to identify the Barry Manilow shirt, which is a stupid shirt, right? And interestingly enough, when different students were asked to watch those groups recordings and estimate how many people they thought would notice this shirt, they had a similar estimate to the reality, about 25%. This means that actually wearing the shirt and being in the situation caused the people to overestimate it, how many people would notice drastically. So you think 50% of people will notice what you wear, how you talk, or how you behave? Nah, not even close, right? So here I mentioned the second study was done in which students could choose between three non-embarrassing t-shirt, one with a pic of Bob Marley, one with the Jerry Seinfeld, and one with the Martin Luther King Jr. These are all well-known people that would be easily to identify. Once again, the students wearing the shirts estimate that about 50% of the room would notice and recall the shirt. In this study, less than 10% of people were actually able to identify who was on the shirt afterward. 10%. 10%. So you really think you're the focus? Unfortunately, you're not, only if you're Taylor Swift or so. Uh, no, nobody would notice what you wear, how you behave, or how you talk. Every time when you think about that, just tell yourself you're really nobody and you're not important. You know what I mean? When you think you are really focusing on yourself or other people are really focusing on yourself, it is not true. You have to understand that people are pretty busy, especially nowadays. They are all focusing on themselves. They're pretty preoccupied with all kinds of things going on. So nobody really cared. So next time when you are in public and you feel nervous, you can tell yourself, right, it's okay, no big deal because nobody really cared. And that's how I deal with that too. So I have these notes here to how to overcome spotlight effect, and I will give you my very own example of doing that. So first is evaluate the situation in a realistic way. How much will people actually care, or how much will people actually pay attention to you? So here's the thing. When I went to Starbucks and I thought I made a really terrible mistake because I didn't understand when they asked me about room for coffee. So I thought they wanted me to find a room and sit down. So of course we had an awkward conversation, and then I will be like, "Oh my god, that was real awkward." And that kind of experience haunted me for a while. But when I went back to the same Starbucks, nobody actually remembered me, and that's when I realized in real life, um, to you that is a big thing for sure. To other people, that is not. To you, that is a stupid mistake. To other people, you're one of those, you know, customers. So yeah, order your coffee and get holiday air, right? So, and that's how I think about this. So evaluate the situation in a realistic way. If you're doing a public speaking, sure, you will get all the attention, of course. But you have to remember, maybe not all of them will pay attention to your speaking, especially if you're doing a schoolwork and doing a school presentations. Really nobody cares. And what they hate the most is so they have to do a Q&A, and you will be like, oh, I'm going to get asked. But reality is nobody wants to ask any questions because they didn't pay attention to your presentation. They don't even care. So tell yourself, really not many people will pay attention to you and your stuff if they're very, very busy on their own with their own things going on. So evaluate if you have the situation. Sometimes it's just not as important as you think. Second method I found out is to see yourself from a different perspective, as if you were a third person. So basically, you're picking yourself out of the situation and stand alone as an outsider and look at the situation you are going through. So when I had my conference, I was presenting my topic in a pronunciation conference. It was quite a big thing because people were from all over the world. And so I did that. I was very proud of myself. Of course, I was nervous too. And that conference is why I started this channel, because I was trying to improve my speaking. So I thought people were going to all over me. People were going to kind of people picked on my speaking, grammar, accent, pronunciation, whatever, and they probably even will be all over my research, and they're gonna say that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, they are interested in my research. They ask me a lot of questions, but I'm was really surprised that they didn't say anything about my language. They weren't surprised that, oh, a Chinese person doing a pronunciation study. That's kind of a little bit ironic, right? So, and not let alone I was talking about teaching pronunciation. So that was funny, and I had a really good time with those people from all over the world. They were really smart and very, very supportive and encouraging, and we shared a lot of experience there. And then I realized that uh, if I were them, and then when I look at my presentation, I wouldn't really be paying attention to that person's um, accent, because we were all here talking about academic stuff. We're talking about research stuff. So nobody really cared about pronunciation, let alone having so many international people there. Um, so if I could have thought about that back then, I probably wouldn't have a lot of awkward moments because I was so focused on my accent. But um, yeah, I use that technology now. If I go to Starbucks, I make mistake. If I go to McDonald's, I make mistake. I'll be like if I'm a third person, I will be focusing on my own stuff. Who cares about how you order the thing? Even if you made some mistake, or even you kind of like make stupid mistake, and they'll be like, ah ha ha, this person is funny. She made a stupid mistake. And then they will move on and they're not leaving on you. So yeah, very good technique to get over Spotify. Of course, I've been listening to Spotify. Get over spotlight effect is to think about the situation or think about what you're doing as a third person. So if you are an outsider, if you are an acquaintance or stranger, would you really pay attention to that situation? Right. So think about that, and that will definitely help you a lot. My last tip is to ask your friends or people who are close to you or someone you trust about for some feedback, because sometimes, well, it's really hard to think from your very own perspective, because you're going to be very judgmental when it comes to yourself, right? But what if you do care about what other people think? Then ask people like your trustworthy friends or your family members. So I'm going to give a presentation to someone else. I would ask them, what do you think? If I do this, if I move a lot, if I dress like that, what would you think about everything? So they will give you feedback. Then maybe you can make some changes according to their feedback. And that is a really nice way to do to avoid something that you think it will be very noticeable if you're going to do it. So that is my tip. And I think really, really funny that when you think about yourself, everything will become the focus. And when you don't think about yourself, then nothing really matters, right? So it's all about those kind of like ego thing, which is something I will talk in the near future. I'm reading a book. It's called Ego is the Enemy. I think that's really, really interesting to talk about, but we will talk about that later. But no. Um, if you really think about how to overcome the spotlight effect, there are very simple ways, despite of what I've just said there. First, ask so. If you think people are paying attention to you, and you think they're judging you, ask yourself, so, right? I don't even know you. I'm leaving. And after that, you probably don't even remember me. I don't remember you. I can't even remember your face. And when you introduce yourself, I say, yeah, nice to meet you. And after that, probably 10 minutes later, you will forget about their names. So, so, right? So if you're doing something, kept telling yourself, kept asking yourself, so, right? So I really think that's a good technique. And second way is to, right, of course, deep breath. I really think deep breath, I know a lot of people will say, oh, take a deep breath or something like that. You'll be like, oh, that's not going to work for me. I used to be like that too, but when I had something I was really nervous about, I was planning a conference for ESL teachers here. And then I had to give a speech about the conference and I summarized what I've done through the whole year and what are the future plans. I was nervous because I was thinking about people are going to judge on my style, the look, and they're going to judge my language, everything. But then I actually reminded myself to take deep breaths. So I was really doing so. And it actually really helped. So next time, try that. Well, it wouldn't hurt trying it. Give it a try, right? So, uh, my third tip is focus on something else. That's what I always do. When I go somewhere, when I stand in public, I feel awkward. When I went to this new school, of course, I didn't know many people. They were all talking about something else. I was trying to be part of it. Uh, and I feel like, oh, they're going to be thinking, no, this introverted person, she's just awkward. She's not part of the team. Oh, I had a lot of thoughts. So what all I was doing is to focus on my smile, focus on my nodding techniques, right? So trying to be part of it. You don't have to be the focus, but trying to be part of it. And then that's also something you can focus on is focusing on being part of it. So how you can fit yourself there, right? So that will give you some distractions, of course, and then you wouldn't really focus on yourself, uh, but other than focusing on your self. You know what I mean? It's like you're not really focusing on you as a person. You're focusing on something else to make you look better in that situation. That's a one thing. Another thing is whatever you're waiting for your coffee, whatever you're waiting for your order, whatever you're waiting for something else, and you definitely felt awkward because you feel like, yeah, I'm, doesn't belong. I don't belong here, and I'm kind of out of blue kind of thing. But your best friend is your phone, right? Have you ever had that moment where you're like trying to just scroll your phone and doing everything, being on Instagram and or other apps and trying to be like, I'm not here. I'm doing something else. That is a good technique, right? Focus on something else, and then it will help you overcome spotlight effect. So try that and practice that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything about this topic. I hope after this video you kind of will have uh a, idea of what spotlight effect is, and if that's the case, and then I will be really happy because I feel like I did something good. If you still don't understand, okay, so we can talk about in the comments, right? So and I think that's a really good idea to do. And this video actually gave me some ideas. I think I will post a topic for each week for you to find out the answers. And then we can talk about that. And then I'll make a video on that to talk about it. It's kind of like interaction. What do you think? Let me know. So my first topic will be up on there and maybe you can have a look. I'm thinking about doing an art because last Sunday I went to Immersive Monet. I really, really loved it. It was very um, breathtaking. I don't know, when I got there and I first saw the whole exhibition and show, I actually got really emotional. I feel like at that moment, one idea popped up in my mind is why do people need art? Right? So we definitely need some skills to make a living, but why do we need art? And that will be the topic that we'll talk about for next week. But you definitely have a time to get ready for it. So think about that. Why do we need art? And talk about it. And I will post that article soon. Not article, the topic, the question for you to work on. Yeah, that's it. And it is a short video. I think so. Every time when I say it is a short video and when I edit that, it is not short, not because I'm lying. I just feel like when I talk, it doesn't feel that long. It always ended up being very long. But anyway, I hope you like this video. If you do, please give a thumbs up and also leave a comment if you like me. And stay tuned for the next episode of something else. And take care. Bye. I'll catch you in the next one.